All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. I'm Elaine Christian with the City of West Palm Beach Office of Sustainability, and we are so excited to share with you our City Nature Photo Challenge results in the City of West Palm Beach and Palm Beach County overall. So as we get started, I'm just going to go through some of the global city photo challenge results that iNaturalist had, and then we're going to look into our own observations and results that we had from our project as well. And if you guys have any questions throughout today's program, feel free to either put them in the chat box or, this is set up as a meeting, so you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask us some questions, or if you want to see anything in particular as we're scrolling through, just let us know. So this was a really fun project, a really fun challenge that we did, and we thank you all for participating. If you were one of the participants, I recognize some people that are here with us today, so thank you all for contributing. And I'm going to switch my screen over to take a look at the overall results here. And Penny's with us today as well. And I don't know if you can help me maybe admit people if you see anyone come into the waiting room.
Just did. I will.
All right, perfect. There we go. All right, can everyone see my screen? Okay, all right, perfect. So this is citynaturechallenge.org. And so on this page they're going to have the overall global results from the Nature Challenge. And you can also access this information that I'm about to go over on the app. So if you guys have the iNaturalist app, if you look under projects, you should have a featured section there, and it should say City Nature Challenge 2021. So then you can also look at all the observations that I'm about to kind of quickly go over here as well. So just taking a look at all of the overall results, 419 cities participated in 44 countries. I mean, that's incredible. And you can see all the little pinpoints on the map here. So just all over the world, people were contributing during this very short amount of time. And if you had attended before with us when we had the kickoff for our WPB City Nature Photo Challenge, you would know that we unfortunately did not make the cutoff for the global challenge. And so our results unfortunately are not included here, but we are going to be participating next year. So I already have us signed up on the list, so we will be participating the next go round. So be on the lookout for that, especially next year. But I did just want to mention too that the global challenge only took place over a few days. I'm gonna scroll to the bottom here real quick. So it was through April 30th through May 3rd, and then they had an identification period of May 4th through May 9th. So this was actually a lot shorter than our WPB City Nature Photo Challenge, which was from April 16th all the way through May 13th. So we had a little bit longer of a time period here. I'm gonna go back up here so we can see that there were over 1 million observations that were made in just that short amount of time. There were over 45,000 species that were documented, and that includes a little over 2,000 rare, endangered, or threatened species. And over 52,000 people were participating all across the globe. So it's really, really cool that so many people were participating and out there in nature, photographing all these different species. And if we scroll down here, we can see some interesting finds that were made. And there are two here on the bottom that I really want to point out. So this bee over here was not only the first record of this insect in Colombia, but also the first on all of iNaturalist. So throughout these photo challenges, it's really cool to see some of these really unique species being observed in special places, or just being, that first record. You could be the one to find the first record of a species on iNaturalist, which is pretty cool. And also this butterfly down here, I'm not going to try to pronounce these names because I'm not the best at the names, but this butterfly was the first documented sighting of this species in Argentina, and this was the southernmost record in all of South America. So really, really neat to show these observations and show where, animals may be moving as well. And there are some other ones on here. We weren't going to go through all of them because we really want to get to our observations, which are really cool too. But again, you guys can go to citynaturechallenge.org to view these, or also on the app. They have this on there too.
Elaine, can you show the cities in Florida?
Oh, that's right. Yes, I will. Here we go. So if we look at the map here, so I can zoom out a little bit so you get an idea. This offers a little bit of a different kind of map, but you can actually zoom in on it. So you can see all the different cities that were participating. And in Florida, we have quite a few. This one right here was labeled as South Florida overall. So that one we could have added our observations to as well, I think. But as I said, next year we will be a pinpoint on here. So we will be on the map and our observations will be included in the global results. So just be on the lookout for that. But really great to see some of these other cities participating as well. And just a little bit, throughout the years, I thought this was a really cool, really cool data that they provided. That over the years, it started in 2016, just 2 cities competing. So it was between San Francisco and Los Angeles. And, so many other cities expressed so much interest. There's so much interest in this challenge that was going on. So then they made it international. And so you can see throughout the years how it's grown. And I mean, you go from even 19,000 observations to over 1 million. So that's really incredible. And just how many observers, you can see the observer count has gone up as well. And really, really just cool to see that we're all just out there exploring nature, and this is gaining in popularity. So more and more people are getting out there and contributing.
And, this is really citizen science, so you're helping, when you contribute to this, you're helping document all of these different species that may or may not have been seen or officially, recognized in that area before. And that's what's really exciting to me, is that we are providing metrics and documentation for our area. I think that's really cool.
All right, so Penny, help me remember, was there anything else we wanted to point out here before we jump to our observations? I think that was all that we were covering on this main page. So now I'm going to jump to our observations. And you all might recognize this here if you had participated. And we had over 700 observations, which is amazing. Almost 300 species that were identified. We had 158 people who were helping to confirm the species that you all observed, and 14 of you were contributing to our observations. So if we scroll down here, we can also see who our most observations were. So congratulations to Laurel B, Joyful Photography, and Eric. If you guys any of you are on here today, congratulations. Let me go back to my PowerPoint here. Our top 3 observations, you guys have won a special prize pack. So as mentioned before, during our kickoff, we have a few of these identification cards. We have a journal, a creative field guide journal. We have a reusable water bottle for you, some native wildflower seeds, and a really awesome backpack as well to carry everything in. So be sure to reach out to us as well so we can get your prize to you. And I will put our email address in the chat here. And I'll also reach out to our winners on iNaturalist as well. So I'll be in contact with you guys if if our winners are not on today, but you might be. Does anyone want to volunteer? Is anyone one of the winners that's here today?
I'm here. This is Laurel.
Hi, Laurel.
Hey there.
Wow. So
Yay!
over
Thanks.
300 observations. That's amazing.
Thanks. I had fun.
I think
I'm
that's what
here.
it's all about, right? Learning and having fun.
Yep.
Yes. And Laura, are you Joyful Photography?
That's me.
Awesome.
Woohoo!
So over 100 observations. You guys are awesome. And Greg, are you Professor Greg? I think you're muted, but I think I saw some of your observations in here.
Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, all of you, for contributing to our City Nature Photo Challenge. I want to look at some of our more specific observations here too. And
I want to just like call out what beautiful photography some of y'all had, as opposed to my like iPhone, grab it, in the moment, if I can get something, to even be recognizable. But all of those observations count, but there were some really beautiful photos as well. So kudos to all of you.
yes, there definitely were. And now I'm trying to see how now it looks different. Penny, how did we, maybe I go here. Yep, here we go. I'm still trying to get used to all the different aspects of the website. The app is so straightforward, but I'm trying to show us our, I want to look at our threatened species.
It is really cool that you can sort in so many different ways.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Oh, that got there.
not sure.
All right, give us 1 second and we will. I was trying to go to our overall species. There we go. All right, so
Yeah.
I just filtered by threatened. So we can take a look at, because we have over 700 observations. So we kind of want to filter them down a little bit to kind of pinpoint some of these more specific species. So I don't know, Penny, Penny is more, she knows a little bit more about the species than I do. So I'm going to kind of hand it over to her to kind of lead this part.
Okay, thanks. Well, yes, I'm a birding geek and I'm a gardener. My background is horticulture as well. So I'm always happier to be out than inside. I wanted to just point out the way iNaturalist categorizes things as threatened means different things. So Elaine, could you click on the wood stork?
Mm-hmm.
Which very interesting to be seeing as many wood storks now as we do. You used to not see them in as urban an area. But if you click on that, so you can see, some different visuals of wood storks. But what I wanted to point out, if you go down and Elaine, you're in the conservation status category, right? So you can see, a map where you can find them, get more information. But under conservation status, this is listed as a species, if you look globally, of least concern. But if you look in Florida, it's imperiled. And across the United States, it's threatened. So when you look at those different, those birds or plants or, insects, whatever your observation is, it may seem funny that you're seeing something as threatened, and it may not be in our area, it may be in another area. So yeah, here's a way you can see that. So here you can really see that it's critically imperiled in some states, but then not so much in others. And then, maybe you have none in other states. And that's going to the Nature Serve Explorer tab. So we're just sort of playing around with some of the things that you can see in iNaturalist that you may not have noticed yet. So let's go back. And just as a quick observation, then go to the duck potato or the lance leaf arrowhead. When I saw that on there, I was like, what is that doing on a threatened list? Because it certainly isn't threatened for us. But when you go into this area and then look under status, you can see that across the US, it is imperiled. So one more, Elaine, let's go back to the other one that I thought was pretty odd, is the common grackle. I don't know about y'all, but I was plagued by grackles this year. You always see a lot of them in the winter, but there were so many. So when I saw this, I'm like, what? But if you go down again and look at the status tab, you can see across North America, it's secure. For some reason, Idaho, it's not. And so there's just a combination of all of those things that may put something on this threatened species list. All right, well, let's go back to the list and we can see some of our observations as well. What about the gopher tortoise? And any of the folks online with us today, if you want to look at a specific observation, just unmute and let us know. And we're going to try and look at the pictures that we actually were taken in our group. So yes, here we can see that this is a species that is vulnerable in Florida, is definitely more imperiled and even critically imperiled in some other of our southern states.
There are babies at the nature reserve around the corner from my house.
Oh, I live in the gardens and I go to Frenchman's Forest a lot, and there are tons and tons of gopher tortoises there. I love being able to see them.
And these are some of the observations that were made throughout the challenge as well. So really cool to see what everyone was taking pictures of.
Yeah. All right, let's check out another one.
All right.
How about the yellow-crowned night heron? Oh, you just passed it. Yeah. So there's a black-crowned night heron and a yellow-crowned night heron. The yellow-crowned you find in brackish or saltwater, and the black-crowned night heron you typically see in freshwater. Oh, I see. It looks like there's some pictures of some immatures in there too. They sort of look like a limpkin when they're young. All right. So most of the reason that any of these plants or animals are listed as threatened or imperiled at some level is because of habitat loss. There are a lot of people, everybody wants to live in South Florida, it seems. And so the more that we build, the more native habitat is, and habitat in general is removed. So when you have the opportunity to vote on, maybe bonds for natural land purchases or any kind of preservation, we really need to be thinking about that. So, wow, look at, who knew? I really didn't know that there was this wide a range for this bird. So you can learn a lot of things with eye naturalist. Let's go see if we can look at some other ones. Let's see, what would any of y'all like to look at? Let's scroll down. I love the shrike. There's some great damselfly and dragonfly photos. How about the chimpanzee orchid, the Florida butterfly orchid? That is a native orchid, and they're just beginning to come into bloom right now. They actually are blooming a little earlier than normal. Have any of y'all seen these out blooming yet? Would you click on that picture of the, yeah, that one. Sort of can show you how you might really see them instead of that close up. I happen to have one in my garden, and so I took a picture of it. Not that great a picture, so you don't have to go to our observations, but it can be exploited because, of course, people are always looking for, you know, something to raise and sell. All right, well, let's just go take another look at a few more of the threatened. I don't know. Alligators are always sort of interesting. Let's see what kind of observation we got for the alligator. Was anybody here? I didn't look. Take a picture of this one. Is this yours? Ah.
For some reason, I feel like some of my pictures didn't automatically get assigned to the challenge when I looked, because I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's fine. I'm just saying, like, it seemed like it didn't work completely correctly sometimes.
Did you upload any maybe after the challenge closed or across? Yeah, I was wondering if some of mine were connected as well. When I went into the app, I kept having to sort of rejoin. And I don't know why, but that, you know, that may have happened to you too.
So we can see also the map of, I believe.
Are these other observations?
Yeah, so these are all observations of alligators. So you can kind of keep track, I guess, of where they're being spotted.
Looks like a lot of alligators in grassy waters. Maybe. Trying to see if that's where it was. All right, well, why don't we go back then to just our overall observations, and we can take a look at which, you know, what did people see the most, the least, what was unusual?
I did want to point out a really cool photo, and there are I just want to say there's so many cool photos, but this was more like an action shot, I guess. And that was this photo that had been uploaded. I don't know if this person is on today, but that was a quick snap, because I know for me, when I was taking photos of different animals, and I mean, it was just, I had to be ready, you know, you have to be ready to snap the photo. So looks like someone was getting some dinner there.
Yeah.
All right, so these are our observations ranked. You'll see they decrease in numbers. So the most observed species that we had was the green iguana.
You know, in a way, that's not surprising. It seems like they're everywhere. But at the same time, it may be that, you know, they're easier to take a picture of if they're sunning. You know, some of these observations, I'm just, awed at being able to catch some of them. It looked like there were, well, do you want to look at any of the ones? Let's see. It looked like there were a lot of wetland birds and plants. So it may be that there were, people out on nature walks. Why don't you go to the green heron and look at the observations there? I love that little bird. And they can be a little secretive. Sometimes you have to really look in order to find the bird in the picture. But there's some great photos there. I'll confess the worst photo there is the silhouette there in my gumbo limbo tree. But hey, I saw him and I knew he doesn't look like anything else. So again, my great iPhone photography. And then, maybe the coffee, the shiny leafed coffee. I mean, I was happy to see some great native plants that are really, good host plants or good foraging plants for our animals. The zebra longwing butterfly loves to nectar on wild coffee. And then, of course, there are a variety of birds that once those seeds, the little berries form, they'll fight over those seeds. So that's a great plant to have in your yard as well. How about, let's see.
This guy.
I was so surprised to see this. Is anybody on that took that shot? So a spot-breasted oriole, I usually I think about them being further south, but it certainly is totally clear pictures. And I think it's sort of interesting for when we did this challenge, which was, during the time of the main photo challenge, it's during some migration period for us. So we would be seeing some migration. Oh, and look at that. So it looks like most of the observations were further to the south.
Yeah, it looks like this was pretty much almost the most northern observation.
They're beautiful birds. Yeah. So what are some other unusual ones? Let's go down to the bottom where there are fewer sightings than others.
King toad.
So that, I saw the bitterns. Those are hard to find. It should be, the least bittern. Those are really sneaky birds as well. I mean, what a great, great opportunity to have found those and been able to capture them.
Some very clear photo there.
Beautiful. You're going to find them in the wetlands, obviously. What else we have down lower and toward the bottom that we may have gotten fewer observations of? Oh, here, I want to just point out, yes, I'm a birder, so maybe I am focusing a little bit too much on the birds, but the brown thrashers are, I don't know if any of y'all are birders or if you mainly just appreciate, just being outside and photography, but this is a bird that we used to see years ago, and for some reason they're all over the place in the natural areas, in parking lots, and I got one in my yard. And they, although some of them migrate, not all of them do. So I'm really interested to see whether this pair that I have are going to stay. Also want to mention the great crested flycatcher. That one probably was because of, what is that? Greg, what little bird is that? Oh my goodness.
I think it was a brown thrasher.
I'm trying to see. Let me make this bigger so I can see. It does look like that might be a brown thrasher. Wow.
He flew into my glass about a year ago and picked him up. I thought he'd be dead, but he came back to life. I finally let him go in a tree about a half an hour later.
Wow. You know, that happened to me the other day with a Connecticut warbler. And was I thinking? I didn't get a picture, but oh yeah, here's another one that we wanted to point out. The Eastern cottontail versus a marsh rabbit. So let's look at this one. The Eastern cottontail has longer ears, and then also has, it's bigger, and of course it has that white tail. I saw one, I've been seeing them in my yard, and I live in the gardens. Oh, look at those. Haven't seen them I've never seen them in my yard before this late winter and early spring. I can only think that it's from sort of the lack of activity over the past year because of COVID, that maybe they've had an opportunity to, you know, move around a little more freely. How about going to the marsh rabbit so we can sort of see that comparison? The marsh rabbits usually are the ones, obviously, that you see in doesn't have to be in the wetlands, but they do like more moist areas, and you often do see them in not full-on wetlands. But obviously, you need to have a little bit of dry land for them. But yeah, they'll swim. And look at those tiny little ears. So that's a dead giveaway, in addition to size, of the difference between the marsh rabbit and ours. Can you show our pictures, Elaine?
Yes.
See, she's become the whiz here with the, you know, with the website. Yeah, look how sweet. Well, there are tons of, tons of pictures that we can look at. So any of the folks that have joined us today, would you like to look at something specific? You could just call it out, and we could look at our own observations, not just the pictures that they've posted.
Yeah, if you guys took anything that was really cool, you want us to bring up, we can do that.
Elaine, can we bring it up by observer as well?
I think I'd have to click on.
Why don't you try Laura? She's here. Happens to be. Here we go.
That's what it was.
You were trying to figure out what her picture was?
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out. I thought it was a scarf, but I have really bad eyesight anyway. So I couldn't figure it out.
Are there any pictures, Laura, you'd like to sort of call out and see you know, hey, this one was really hard to get, or I really, you know, this was one of my favorites.
Wow. These are cool.
I love the egret. Look at that great egret. Click on that one, Elaine. That one. Will it open up?
Was that Joyful Photography? Yeah.
Yes, that's
That
me.
member, oh my God, their pictures were just jaw-dropping. I just don't understand how they were able to take pictures so well of the birds, because I tried to take pictures of birds and they were just flying away and I gave up. But
Well, Joyful Photography
Thank
is here
you.
with us today.
Thanks. It's a new hobby for me. I kind of cell phones take great pictures, but you don't have the telephoto, and that's really the biggest difference. And so with the telephoto lens, you have better opportunity, and that's really all it is.
Yeah.
And of course, if you go to Wakota where this was taken, you can do that with your cell phone. Like they're just right there in front of your face right now. It's
their pictures
amazing.
were beautiful.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I want to just point out, and it shows up so perfectly in this picture, in this great egret, when they're in mating plumage, it's not only the plumage, but if you look at the part right above the beak between the eyes, that area, I'm trying to remember what it's called. Nandies? I can't remember the real term for it, but that turns brilliant green. Actually, even looks greener than this sometimes, even that it's in this picture. So different times of the years, you know, the birds, the plants, everything looks different. So beautiful job there.
Yeah, I know. With my phone, it was difficult to take photos. So
I know.
I was curious, did anyone take any pictures of the wild pigs up in Palm Beach Gardens or the Jupiter area?
I didn't
I don't
see
think
it.
so.
No? Oh.
I didn't know they were there. That's so cool.
I've seen a couple of wild pigs up in Jupiter in Palm Beach Gardens at my son's soccer games. They just come out of nowhere out in the soccer fields and they just disappear. I'm
Well,
not sure.
what I will say is that wild pigs are very destructive. They can really tear up natural lands. And I mean, on one hand, it's like, wow, hard to believe that we have that large of a creature running around wild, you know, but they can be really destructive too. Did you find some, Elaine? We didn't do them, but someone else probably did.
I don't know if it would be classified as a wild. Would it be bush
Well, click
pig?
it. I don't know. Well, let's see what it said.
Said no. I don't know what it would be classified as. Do we? Are any of these?
Well, let's look. Do the wild boar, because I believe that they are introduced species,
No, it
but
didn't say.
nothing came up. Domestic, no, that's going to be. No, I don't think it's any of those. But well, I guess you could click on the domestic pig wild boar and see whether any come up locally. Do you see it? The second one down?
No.
The second one down? Yeah. Let's see if anything comes up.
It didn't show anything. I don't know.
All right. Well, they can be a little scary too if you just happen on them as well.
Or maybe, I don't know if it's just looking at our observations right now.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
That could be it.
Oh, and Greg put a link in the chat for us about feral pigs are a problem. Yeah. Thanks, Greg.
Oh,
Well, the other thing that we wanted to share with you all, because you participated in this, is that we're going to be doing a pollinator. I don't know, what do we call it, Elaine? Photo challenge?
powerful pollinator.
Yeah, observations. I don't know that it's always a challenge unless it's a challenge to get them, you know. But we do celebrate or sort of call out Pollinator Week in June, and we'll have some things up on our website. And we were just talking about that it could be really fun to just have an iNaturalist challenge that was targeted at a certain thing or a certain, you know, a smaller group. And I've seen that in some of the other, you know, just the general challenges that are out there. I didn't see anybody take a picture of poison ivy. I should have thought about that because it gets so big here. People don't always realize that it's poison ivy.
I think that was one of the one of the top observed species in the global challenge, if I recall, because I took a look at it the other day.
Can you get back to that so we could see, like, you know, across the US or whatever, what some of the top photographs were? And, you know, again, I always think about, is it because there are more of that thing around, or is it because it's just an easier thing to get a picture of? Or it may also just be something that people recognize more, so they're taking a picture of it because they know it. And I've used iNaturalist to identify plants and insects. So if I, you know, I'm out, you know, in some nature area somewhere and I see a wildflower, or I was up in west of Fort Pierce a few weeks ago and saw a tree up there that I was like, I ought to know this tree, but I don't recognize it. And it was a water hickory. So I took a picture of it, and sure as anything, the iNaturalist just ID'd it for me just like that. So is this, we're to the main page now?
Yeah, so this is the overall, the Global City Nature Challenge results, and these are the most observed species, and poison ivy is right up there near the top.
So the very most observed are mallards. I wonder if that's because they will come to city ponds and water, as well as being, you know, out in the nature area. Glad to see honeybees there. Don't know about geese. Those can be a little bit of a mess. House sparrows, ivy, of course, the beautiful cardinal. I don't think cardinals get enough credit. They have some beautiful songs and they're with us year round. Now, is this worldwide, Elaine, or just in the US?
Yes, it's worldwide. So this includes all of the million, you know, almost 1.3 million observations.
Wow. There's a pretty starling. They can be a little bit of a pain too, but that's an immature starling. Very interesting to see what the most observations are. So maybe we should, well, why don't you scroll down a little bit more, but ooh, look at that, a western fence lizard. Haven't seen that one. But if you know, sort of just scroll down, I'm sort of interested to see what are some of the least common as well, because those are going to be probably worldwide, some of the more exotic ones.
I think it's gonna take a while for me to scroll all the way
Oh, yeah.
because there's so many.
Hmm. Didn't
But
think about that.
oh, there's the blanket flower.
I'm really seeing, I'm not seeing things that, well, maybe the Scots pine. I don't know that. I don't know. This doesn't seem as much worldwide to me as possibly US, but I don't know. Lesser goldfinch, oh, white-throated sparrow, real sweet little birds. The great tit, I don't know where that one comes from. There's the wren. Should have gotten a picture of the wren. European robin, interesting. So yeah, we're starting to see some more. That chaffish is not a US bird, I don't believe. Blue-winged teal are here, bumblebees. Wild turkeys, 454 observations.
Oh, frog fruit. I like frog fruit.
And that's the host plant of the white peacock.
Yeah, so really interesting stuff, just to see what everyone was observing. And keep in mind, this is between April 30th and May 3rd. I mean, it's just such a short amount of time that people were out there taking all of these.
Yeah, think about that. 4 days. Ooh, pretty flickers. Oh, beavers. Eurasian blue tit. Trying to get some ideas of where to go birding now that we may be able to start traveling again.
Well, I know there's just so much to look through here. Bald eagle popped up there. Our Gulf fritillary. I really thought that our domestic animals were not supposed to be counted in it. So I'm surprised to see the domestic cat, and I saw a domestic dog somewhere else in the observations too.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was torn between, just trying to do native plants instead of the cultivated plants. I did throw in a couple of landscape plants, but if I had taken, I mean, it's almost too easy in a way, so.
Yeah. Well, again, we really want to, oh, look at them. We really want to thank you all for participating in our West Palm Beach City Nature Photo Challenge. And again, be on the lookout next year when we participate in the Global Challenge in 2022. We're really looking forward to that. And thank you all for, just taking the time and contributing and participating in the project. And before we close everything out, I want to mention a few other programs that we have going on. Switch over to my slideshow here. So again, if you were one of our top 3 winners, please reach out to sustainability@wpb.org so we can get your prize pack to you. We also do rain barrel giveaways, and I thought I had taken that off, but we will have additional rain barrel giveaways in the future. Our most recent one just passed, but you can go to wpb.org/savewater. That rainwater is really great to water your garden with, and your plants are really going to love that rainwater. So something really great to have, and also reduces your water bill too. And we also do native tree giveaways, so you can increase the habitat in your yard as well. So we give away 4 trees per property per year, and they're for City of West Palm Beach residents and businesses. Our next giveaway, this is weird because I know I went through and changed these dates. Our next giveaway is on May 22nd, not April 24th, but May 22nd is our next giveaway. And we have a safe parking lot pickup. So you just pull through with your car, we load them into your car and you're on your way. So we do ask that you visit wpb.org/10K trees beforehand though, to fill out the application and select your trees. We have quite a few trees to select from and you can choose which ones you'd like. And that had already passed. I'm sorry, I don't know, something weird must have happened, but we did participate in the YellowCrowned National Mayor's Challenge for Water Conservation in the month of April. I think these were probably from our beginning kickoff, but we are also still giving away free toilet vouchers as well if you'd like to upgrade your toilet. So another way to save water. This is a program that we've had going on since about 2012, so it's been ongoing, but we are really hoping to reach, some of these other properties that we haven't been able to reach in the past. So if you you yourself, or if you know anyone who is in the City of West Palm Beach or who receives water from the City of West Palm Beach and has older toilets, we are giving away those $125 vouchers for you to upgrade your older toilets. So you can actually get a toilet for free with that $125 voucher. And this is our information. Again, our email is sustainability@wpb.org. So please be in contact with us. If you're one of our top 3 winners, or if you were not, you can also email us if you have any questions about anything. And once we have our Powerful Pollinators program up, I will post it on our webpage, wpb.org/green, and also on our social media. We're at WPB Green on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And with that, I don't know if anyone has any questions, or Penny, you want to add something?
I was just going to say, as far as the nature challenge next year, if you belong to a club, you may be part of a photography or bird watching or a plant, any kind of club, your neighborhood, church, or other organization, faith-based organization, or any organization, we're going to be looking to sort of get the word out about this nature challenge next year. Typically it has been a challenge where there's like winning cities, but over the last 2 years, because of COVID, they've just tried to bring everybody together and get more people outside, and they may leave it like that. I don't know, but either way, we want to try and document as many different species as we can across our city, and we'll probably be focused on our city because other cities will be doing it as well. But just trying to lay the groundwork now that we want to have huge participation, and we'd love to have you join us.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.